Xani had always been different. While other children of Aloria reveled in the sun-kissed magic of air, fire, water, or earth, her affinity was a void, a chilling emptiness that set her apart. In the heart of the emerald forest, where the air was thick with the scent of pine and the songs of unseen creatures, she felt like a stranger. Her mother, a woman of gentle spirit and fiery magic, had tried to guide her daughter, to coax the hidden spark into flame. But Xani's magic remained dormant, a stubborn seed refusing to sprout. The villagers whispered, their eyes filled with pity and fear. They spoke of shadows and the forbidden magic of the Shadow Isles, a land shrouded in perpetual mist, a place of ancient, dark power. As she grew, the isolation deepened. Xani found solace in the ancient oak at the edge of the village. With its gnarled roots and sprawling branches, it seemed to understand her silence. It was there, beneath its watchful gaze, that she first felt a strange pull, a whisper of something unknown. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long, dancing shadows, Xani stretched out her hand. A flicker of darkness, like a raven's wing, spread from her fingertips. Fear and exhilaration warred within her as she realized the truth. She was not without magic. It was different, darker, a reflection of the shadows that had always clung to her. Xani gasped, her heart pounding in her ears. The darkness pulsed, alive and hungry, a creature born from her own being. Fear gnawed at her, but a thrill of power coursed through her veins. She was different, yes, but not broken. She was something more. A twig snapped behind her. Xani whirled, her heart leaping into her throat. A pair of accusing eyes stared back at her from the darkening woods. Old Tara, the village elder and guardian of ancient lore, her face etched with a mixture of shock and fear. "Xani," Tara whispered, her voice trembling. "What have you done?" The darkness flickered and died, as if ashamed of being seen. Xani felt a rush of shame, as if she had been caught committing a grave sin. Tara stepped closer, her eyes never leaving Xani's face. "This is a dangerous path, child," she said, her voice low. "The shadows are not to be toyed with." Xani felt a surge of defiance. "I didn't choose this," she retorted, her voice barely a whisper. Tara's gaze softened. "No, child, you didn't. But you must learn to control it, to harness its power. Or it will consume you." With those words, Tara turned and disappeared into the gathering dusk, leaving Xani alone with the whispering wind and the secrets of her own soul. The night grew colder, the whispers grew louder, and the shadows grew bolder. Xani felt them reaching out to her, a siren call from the forbidden lands. She knew what she had to do. With a deep breath, she packed a small bag with supplies and slipped away from her village under the cloak of darkness. Her heart was a storm of emotions, fear, excitement, and a fierce determination to understand her shadowed gift. Her journey to the Shadow Isles was fraught with danger and wonder. The forest thinned out, giving way to a landscape of twisted trees and shifting mists. The air grew thick with a chill that seemed to cling to her very soul. Yet, with each step, she felt the shadow magic within her stirring, whispering, guiding her deeper into the heart of the unknown. Upon reaching the edge of the Shadow Isles, she encountered Asher, a half-elf with a mischievous smile and eyes that gleamed like starlit pools. He was a rogue, a wanderer, and he claimed to have seen the world in all its colors. His curiosity piqued by her shadowy aura, he offered to be her guide. Though wary, Xani accepted, for she knew the path ahead was one she could not walk alone. Together, they ventured into the realm of shadows. The mist swirled around them, and the very air seemed to breathe with ancient secrets. They encountered creatures that defied the light, twisted reflections of those found in Aloria. Xani's magic grew stronger with each step, the darkness within her reaching out to embrace the land that mirrored it. Yet, she felt a growing sense of unease. This was not a place of balance, but of dominance. The shadows here were not allies, they were masters. Their travels led them to an ancient library, a bastion of knowledge lost to time. It was here that they found Thorin, the grizzled old dwarf with a hidden secret. His eyes, though clouded with age, shone with the gleam of one who had seen the depths of shadow and lived to tell the tale. He agreed to help Xani, to teach her the ways of shadow magic without letting it consume her. But first, they had to face the looming threat of Anagen, the Shadow Lord, whose ambition to swallow Eloria in eternal night grew with each passing moment. The trio forged an unlikely alliance, bound by fate and the need to protect their world from the encroaching dark. As they delved into the shadows, Xani discovered that the prophecy spoke of her, the one who could wield the power of darkness and light. The journey ahead was fraught with peril, but she was not without hope. With Asher by her side, his blade a beacon in the gloom, and Thorin's wisdom to light her path, she would face her destiny and the darkness that dwelt within her heart. Their first encounter with Anagen's forces was a grim introduction to the reality of war. The shadow creatures were relentless, their eyes burning with a hunger that made Xani's skin crawl. She felt the seductive whispers of their power, urging her to give in to the embrace of the shadows. But she resisted, drawing instead on the warmth of her friend's companionship and the fire of her own will. The battles grew fiercer as they approached the Shadow Isle's capital, a city of twisted spires and malevolent whispers. It was here that Xani and Asher's bond grew stronger, their shared experiences and the weight of their mission forging a bond that transcended friendship. In the quiet moments between battles, they found themselves drawn to each other, their hearts beating in a rhythm that seemed to echo the very essence of the world's struggle between light and dark. Terra had warned her of the temptations of power, and as Xani's control over her shadow magic grew, so too did the whispers of corruption. She knew that the path she walked was narrow, that one misstep could send her spiraling into the abyss. Yet, she pressed on, driven by a fierce love for her homeland and the knowledge that she alone could stand against the Shadow Lord. The final confrontation with Anagen was a battle of wills, a dance of light and shadow. The air was thick with the scent of ozone as their magics clashed, the very fabric of reality trembling beneath the weight of their power. Xani could feel the shadow magic devouring the land, feeding on the fear and despair of those who had fallen. Her heart ached for those lost, and she vowed to end this nightmare, to restore balance to the world. With a roar that echoed through the mists, she called upon the full might of her shadowy gift, her eyes burning with a light that was not entirely her own. The ground trembled as she and Anagen stood toe-to-toe, their power a maelstrom that threatened to consume all in its path. The fate of two worlds rested on the outcome of this clash, and Xani knew that she could not falter. The air grew taut with anticipation, the very shadows seeming to hold their breath. Then, with a cry that shattered the silence, she struck. Her magic, no longer a mere reflection of the dark, became a weapon of purity, a blade of shadow imbued with the essence of the light she had left behind. Anagen staggered, his own power wavering in the face of her unyielding spirit. The battle raged on, a symphony of chaos and determination. Xani felt the shadow magic pulsing through her, whispering sweet nothings of power and dominance. Yet, she clung to the memory of the emerald forest, of her mother's fiery embrace, and the steadfastness of her companions. As the shadows grew thicker, Xani reached deep within herself, finding a wellspring of light she had never known. It surged forth, a beacon in the darkness, and she knew that she had found the key to victory. With a final, desperate effort, she cast a spell that would either save her world or destroy it. The world around them erupted in a blast of light and shadow, the two forces intertwining in a display of elemental fury. For a moment, the very fabric of reality seemed to unravel before her eyes. And when the dust settled, Anagen lay defeated, his power shattered and dissipating into the mist. The Shadow Isles were not free from darkness, but the tide of shadow had been pushed back. The prophecy had been fulfilled, and the balance restored. Xani, now a beacon of hope for both lands, turned to Asher and Thorin, her eyes filled with tears of relief and joy. Together, they stood at the crossroads of their destinies, knowing that their journey was far from over. The scars of war marred the land, and the whispers of the shadows would not be silenced so easily. But they had proven that even in the face of the deepest darkness, the light could still shine through. Their first task was to rebuild the alliances between Eloria and the Shadow Isles. Thorin took it upon himself to travel across the continent, sharing his newfound knowledge of shadow magic with the leaders of the various kingdoms. His aim was to foster understanding and unity, to ensure that the two lands could stand as one against any future threat. Asher, his blade now a symbol of hope rather than rebellion, went to the borders of the Shadow Isles. His charm and valor won over many hearts, and he began the arduous task of training a new generation of warriors, imbuing them with the wisdom to wield their power without succumbing to its seductive whispers. Xani, however, knew that true change would come from within. With her newfound mastery over the shadows, she ventured back into the heart of the Isles, seeking to heal the corrupted lands and free the creatures enslaved by Anagen's influence. It was a solitary quest, fraught with danger and sorrow, but she was not alone in spirit. The love of her friends and the warmth of her mother's memory guided her through the endless night. In the quiet moments of her journey, as she knelt beside a struggling tree or coaxed a lost creature back to the light, Xani felt the weight of her power shift. It was no longer a burden to be feared, but a tool to be wielded with care. Her magic grew more nuanced, a blend of shadow and light that danced in harmony within her soul. The whispers grew fainter, the shadows less menacing. Slowly, the land began to mend, the mists lifting to reveal a glimpse of the beauty that had once been obscured. Yet, she knew that the true battle was not over. The shadows of the Shadow Isles were a part of her now, a constant reminder of the potential for corruption that lay within all hearts. The prophecy had spoken of a chosen one, but she had come to understand that she was not just battling an external enemy. The real war was within, the eternal struggle to maintain the balance between the light and the dark. It was a battle she would fight every day, not just for her world, but for herself. And so, Xani continued her quest, her eyes set on the horizon, her heart a beacon of hope. The shadow magic was a part of her now, a piece of the puzzle that made her whole. With each step, she grew stronger, more in tune with the essence of the world around her. The whispers grew faint, the darkness receding before her light. The creatures of the Shadow Isles watched her progress with a mix of awe and fear, for she was unlike any they had seen before. The girl who had once been feared was now their savior, the keeper of the balance that held the world together. In the end, it was not the might of armies or the power of prophecy that had won the day, but the unyielding spirit of a single, rebellious heart. Xani had faced her demons and emerged not just victorious, but transformed. The girl who had been shunned by her village was now a symbol of hope for all who dwelt in shadow and light. The story of Xani, the Shadow-bearer, grew with each telling, inspiring others to look within themselves and find their own power. Her tale became a beacon that pierced the gloom, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the light of courage and love could never truly be extinguished. The Shadow Isles were changing. Where once there had been only mist and despair, a tentative hope began to bloom. Xani, with her newfound understanding of shadow magic, worked tirelessly to restore the land. She nurtured the dying trees, coaxing them back to life with a touch of her dark magic, tempered by the light she had discovered within herself. The creatures, once hostile and twisted, began to respond to her gentle guidance. They learned to coexist with the world, their shadows no longer a source of terror but a unique aspect of their being. As the land healed, so too did the hearts of its people. Xani, now revered as the Shadow-bearer, became their symbol of hope. People from Eloria began to venture into the once forbidden land, bringing with them seeds of life and knowledge. A new era of cooperation dawned, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Asher, ever the wanderer, found his place in this new world as a protector. He trained the young, instilling in them the values of courage, compassion, and the respect for all living things. His bond with Xani deepened, their love a beacon in the twilight of the Shadow Isles. Their story became a legend, a symbol of the enduring power of love in the face of darkness. Yet, the journey was far from over. The scars of war were deep, and the whispers of the old order persisted. There were those in Aloria who feared the power of shadow magic, who saw it as a constant threat. And within the Shadow Isles, there were those who clung to the old ways, resisting the change Xani was bringing. Xani knew that true peace would not come easily. It would require patience, understanding, and a relentless pursuit of justice. She established a council, a gathering of leaders from both worlds, to address the challenges that lay ahead. Their task was monumental, but Xani was determined. She had faced the darkest depths of her soul and emerged victorious. She would not allow fear or hatred to consume the world she had fought so hard to save. As the years passed, Xani watched as the Shadow Isles transformed. It became a land of contrast, where the darkness and light coexisted in a delicate balance. It was a place of wonder and mystery, a testament to the power of hope and the enduring spirit of humanity. And in the heart of this new world, Xani found her peace. She was no longer the outcast, the shadow girl. She was the shadow bearer, a symbol of unity, a guardian of balance, and a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always a chance for redemption. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, consider subscribing to stay updated with our latest stories, give us a like if you want to see more, and drop a comment below to let us know your thoughts.